So just found out there's even more to do for the Cambridge application process, the Cambridge SAQ. What even is it and where to start? Well, don't worry, you're in exactly the right place. So first things first, what even is the Cambridge SAQ? So it's something you need to fill out pretty soon after handing in your UCAS application to your universities. So straight off the Cambridge admissions website, this was due in on the 22nd of October 2021. But this is different based on where you're from, so this is slightly earlier for international applicants. This was the 27th of September back in 2021. You need to fill it in though because it's compulsory, yes, so you have to do it. And that's also because it makes sure that the admissions tutors have all of the relevant information about you, including like knowing whether there are any extenuating circumstances as well. It makes sure that the admissions tutors know what courses you've done and modules, so that can then form the basis for what they ask you in your interview. So what are my top tips for writing and filling out that Cambridge SAQ? Okay, so the first thing is make sure you have all of the necessary documents that you need when you start this. So one thing that you're going to need is your UCAS personal ID. You'll need a temporary SAQ password, and that's sent to you from the Cambridge admissions. You need a passport style photo of you, and this is important, and I'll get onto that in just a second. You need details about the units that you have studied or are currently studying, and if you have already done A-levels, you need to know the UMS, so the mark breakdown of your exams, so that you can put that in as part of your application. There are other bits of information as well, but they might not be relevant to you specifically. So for example, if you've done the Scottish Highers or Advanced Highers, you will need to have your band scores as well to hand. For some applicants, they'll also have to have an official transcript from their school. If you've already done a degree and you're applying as a postgraduate or a mature student, you may actually have to have your university transcript ready as well to send to them. And in addition, there might be a fee payment, but that's not really applicable to most of the candidates. But yeah, having those to hand just makes the whole process of filling out the SAQ a lot easier and a lot less daunting. You're way less likely to just leave completing it mid-process. It's also worth remembering that you don't have to fill out the SAQ in one sitting, so you can log in as many times as you need. Okay, number 2, the photo. Now this is way more important than you think. So this is my main wisdom. Please choose wisely when you're picking out your photo, and that's because your photo will come and haunt you for many years to come. So the photo that you use in your SAQ is what your supervisors will see every time they're writing a report about you, but also it's the one that's on your CAM card. Now that's the identity card that you have when you're traveling around your college and the university as a whole, and yeah, you don't really change that picture, so you're going to have that even in your 3rd year. Also, try to stick to the dimension requirements that they've said, because if you don't, your picture is going to be really squished out or squished in, and it's going to look really funny. So yeah, if you get into Cambridge and you have a weird picture, you'll get tormented for this. So number 3, please be honest about any of the courses that you have studied. So yeah, this isn't a chance to show off your pre-reading skills and be like, wow, I've done so much of the content ahead of everybody else. So if they ask about your modules, be honest about them, and if you're unsure, do check with your teachers. Because the thing is, they might use that as presumed knowledge and bring it up in the interview. And sure, there's going to be a lot of unfamiliar content in the interview as well, but the A-level content could be a good starting point for that. So make sure it's stuff you've actually learned, so you'll be comfortable talking about it all. So the 4th thing is make sure you flag up any mitigating circumstances. So there might be some really good reasons as to why you underperformed at GCSE, or you have lower predictions than you would have otherwise had. The SAQ is a really good place to make the admissions tutors aware of this, so they know when they're handling your application. You'll also need to mention that you are filling out the extenuating circumstances form, the ECF, within the SAQ as well. Also, another thing that you can mention is whether your school did or didn't allow you to do the A-level subjects that you wanted. So in many schools there might be like a timetable clash and you didn't get to do the subject you actually wanted to at A-level. That counts as a mitigating circumstance and you should flag this up. Number 5, gap year plans. So the SAQ has a 300 character section within, and that allows you to discuss any gap year plans that you may have. So for some subjects, this might be a really good opportunity to show that you've used your gap year in a really valuable way to extend your knowledge about your subject or consolidate it further. So from what I know, maths admissions tutors aren't super keen on gap year applicants because there's a chance to have forgotten maths content in that year. But if you've shown that you're up to date on the knowledge and that you really worked hard to maintain it in that time, that can really help to sway them in your favour. So this can count as revision of content, but also having done Olympiads or further challenges or doing extra reading. For languages, it's also a super valuable opportunity to discuss about how you've gone travelling and you've extended your awareness for the language, for the culture and for the history. For more vocational subjects like medicine or veterinary medicine, it could be really useful to mention volunteering plans or working as, say, a healthcare assistant or within a lab. But the pattern between all of these things that you could discuss in that gap year place is that they have some sort of academic relevance, and this is something that's really, really valued by Oxbridge admissions tutors. And so even though general plans and hobbies are valuable and really important to you, this might not be the best place to discuss them, because ultimately they're trying to decide whether you're a good fit academically, and by showing these academic plans, that's how you can really prove it to them. Okay, so number 6, the optional personal statement. So although some people advise against actually filling out the optional personal statement, I found it to be a really good opportunity to explain why I was a good fit for the Cambridge course specifically. It's also really tight, so you've only got 1,200 characters to actually say what you want, so you don't have to have a particularly elaborate structure. A simple paragraph will do. So the additional personal statement is great for showing your awareness of the course and how it might differ to other medical schools. So for example, the fact that you have cadaveric dissections in Cambridge, but also that you have that split between preclinical and clinical medicine. And by reflecting on that, you can explain why you would be a particularly good fit for that sort of a course. In that section, you can also discuss certain parts of the course that you've heard about or read about and that you are particularly interested in, and that can give the admissions tutors an idea of what your interests are in, and it could be a great launching point in the discussions you have in the interview. Once again, I would recommend sticking to mainly academic things though within this mini personal statement section of the SAQ, because that's what the admissions tutors are interested in, and that's what they will consider most when deciding whether to give you an offer. Okay, so that is it in terms of my advice for the SAQ and explaining what it even is. If you do have to be filling out the SAQ sometime soon, best of luck with that. I hope you found the video useful, and if you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.